supports. They're removable and they're temporary. They're structures designed to allow parts of the print to have something to print on top of if they don't already. Bridging is kind of similar, but it occurs when you just need to span a short distance that has support on either side, like an actual bridge. Most printers use a cooling fan to blow air on the filament as it comes out to harden it, allowing for a decent amount of bridging, sometimes even several inches worth, but usually limited to about an inch or about 2.5 centimeters. Bridging occurs much less frequently in 3D models than the need for support, however, print actually is. It's very rare that you'll actually want to print a 100% infill or a completely solid object. It's common, however, to print at 15% infill, for example, which is usually the default on most slicers. The thicker your outside walls are, the less likely you are to need a high percentage of infill. I've printed many pieces that only have maybe 5 to 8% infill, and they can work just fine, or anything like that. And honestly, even the 50% may have been overkill for this type of structure. The most common setting you'll need to adjust is layer height. This is equivalent in many ways to resolution of an image for a 2D printer. Think of a pixelated image that you find online, maybe like this one. You can get the gist of it, but it doesn't actually look very good. That's like printing with a higher layer height, that a larger number there. There are less layers to make up the shape, and layers are a bit like pixels. If you then see a much higher resolution version of it, it looks smoother and crisper, kind of like using a lower layer height for printers. Most FDM 3D printers come with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, which refers to the size of the hole that the filament is extruded through. Ideally, you want to keep your layer height no more than 80% of your nozzle opening size. So that's about 0.3 millimeter layer height on a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. FDM printers...
I just found new game. Look, the guests are coming to see my
did an awesome job of creating a video showing exactly how you do that. You can check out right up here. Now, going through the different slicer settings could be an entire video series because there are literally hundreds of options. But be sure to check whether or not you're using supports, your infill percentage, and your layer height at minimum. You'll also want to verify that you have the right temperatures for both the bed and the hot end based on the type of filament that you're using, which is what we'll be getting into now. Once you've sliced the file, it will output a G-code file like we talked about before. That file can then be transferred from your computer to the printer itself by way of wireless connection if your printer supports it, but otherwise it's whatever memory card type to USB-C or micro USB to allow you to connect it directly to PLA. That said, it tends to be quite a bit stronger and more resilient than PLA. It's usually a little bit more expensive, but not by much, and it also offers some great options in terms of semi-transparency and different types of materials you can use with it. Now, there are many people who swear by PETG as the go-to for all prints. In fact, I was actually on a call not that long ago with the most adorable young man, this 8-year-old boy from the UK named Robin. And one of the first things he said when he met me was, "Why don't you use PETG for all your prints? Stop using PLA." So there are those who are very adamant about it. ABS is another one that's actually been around for ages, and you probably have lots of items in your house that are made from ABS, like Lego bricks, for example. It's tough, it's durable, it's pretty reasonably priced, but it is a bit more difficult to print because it typically requires a full enclosure around your printer and some higher temperatures as well. When it comes to functional prints or printed models that are actually going to be used to provide a physical purpose, as opposed to something that's just kind of cool or decorative, some of the filaments we just mentioned can be very useful, but there are many more, including nylon, carbon fiber, magnetic filament, conductive filament, HIPS, which is kind of like what's used to make milk jugs, wood fiber filaments, dichromatic filaments, water-soluble filaments, and many more. You get the picture. There's just a ton of different kinds of filaments out there that you can use, and some of them are pretty new and pretty exciting. In fact,
that's all I wanted to see for now. Now what are you? Go back again?
Go back and go to home or wherever you want to go.
No, you're not little miss. Nope, I got weed out on the table. Got it.
Do you like Marble Tracks? This is a game that can build orbit in
hacks that you can use Dollar Tree items to create